Baby, it is 2025. Can we please stop with this goofy ass outrage whenever it comes to black men being in relationships with non-black women? As a black woman myself, I have never understood this issue. Because as much as a lot of black women act like they just can't stand black men, I don't understand why y'all are mad. And then we'll make stupid ass arguments like if he don't want to be in a relationship with a black woman, it means he hates his mom or some shit like that. Because a white woman is what activates this man's libido, why does he have to hate his mama because of that? And let's just play devil's advocate for a second. Let's just say he does have this underlying hatred towards his mom. Have y'all ever paid attention to how a lot of black men are actually treated by their mamas? So even if that is the case, why are we skipping over the fact that it very well could be justified? Of course, we have some exceptions, but as a whole, black men are actually treated horribly by black women. Whether it was from a romantic relationship or from their mama or their auntie or their grandma, a lot of black men have experienced trauma that was caused by black women. Y'all have even got on here and acknowledged that black men who act like they have this hatred or this dislike towards black women is because of unresolved issues of trauma that they went through with their moms. The only thing I do agree with y'all on is that if they do have some underlying issues whenever it comes to their mother or whatever the case is, they should seek some sort of professional help for it. Those type of issues do need to be addressed. But y'all are skipping over the fact that the root to the issue is how he was treated by black women. Y'all want to hold black men accountable for not addressing their trauma. How about we hold the person who caused the trauma accountable as well?
Hey, and she's really little, especially the last part, especially hitting on the last part. She's really saying the same thing we've been saying for the longest. We can talk about how bad a lot of your men are today. We could, and I'm talking about your Pookies and your Ray Rays and your brothers from the hood, right? Boys in the hood. You got a lot of these brothers who are out here causing havoc, man. I mean, tearing shit up. I mean, they're doing all types of stuff. But yet, right? Yeah, like let's just use this as a good example, right? Let's use the YSL case with all these brothers snitching and shit. You look at them, right? You just look at them brothers. Can y'all just tell me how many of them truthfully were raised in a two-parent household? Or how many of them were raised by just a single mother? I would say a majority of them are. Right now, I'm just kind of just throwing it out there. I'm just suggesting. I could be totally wrong. But I honestly believe most of them were all raised by their mothers. So just imagine them, but in a bunch of hoods. A lot of these guys are raised by single mothers. Statistically speaking, your guys who are rapists, who are robbers, who are thieves, murderers, they all come from your single parent household raised by a woman. So yes, we can acknowledge that we have guys that we need to change some of these guys' mindsets, but it starts where in the household. And if they're being raised by women, what do you expect? You just can't constantly keep pointing fingers at men as if they are the ones who have a say in what their children do when the household is separated. When a man is living in one place and his baby mother and his child is living in another place, and the judge says, "Hey, well now we're going to go ahead and give the mother full custody." What do you think the father's going to do? Right? What do you think the father's going to do? What position do you think he's going to be in? But look at the comments. Someone says, I'm 30, never been treated kindly by black women that I tried to date. I love black women, love my mom, but haven't experienced anything positive when trying to date. Called lame or boring or told I act white for things that I like to do or don't do. I work and stay inside, occasionally go out with friends. I am a homebody. Then somebody else says, it's really downplayed how dark-skinned black men had it growing up. Black women wouldn't look at me growing up, but I had no problem pulling other races. And don't get me started on my mom. That woman hated me, so this woman kept it. So, I mean, and once again, guys, this idea, right? And I'm not going to say it's idea because obviously a lot of people a lot of boys are going through it. You have your experience. You know, I would say more mothers care for their children. Now, of course, there's more nuance into it, but service level, I think, of course, your mothers will do them. I guess you could say bare minimum, but they will do enough to make sure that the child is good, right? And the reason I say they will only do enough is because when you have a lot of single mothers in a position of being a single mother, they do a lot of spiteful things to the baby father, right? They keep the father away from the child. So you are creating and putting a deficit in this child's life. Statistically speaking, children are prone to fail at a higher rate when the father is not involved. So when you are active mother and you're actively keeping the child away from the father, that is you being a half-assed parent, right? That's why I said they'll only do but so much, because if it requires them to be mature about co-parenting with somebody who they truly dislike, come on. Right, come on. There's a lot of football players and a lot of teammates and a lot of people who work at companies who do not like that other person, but they got a job, they got to do this, they got obligations. Got to work through that, right? They got to work through that. A lot of you women are not willing to. But once again, maybe these situations that a lot of these people bring up when it comes down to men and their mothers, the tension that they may have. I don't know. Hey, maybe some of these experiences and situations are a little embellished. We need to know a little bit more, right? We need to know a little bit more. But I mean, for the most part, you can see where people are headed at. You can see why people have the mindset that they have, and a lot of people are bringing up their mothers. When you look at the streets, when you look at your rappers raised by single mothers, byproduct of a single mother, and you look at how our peers, how our female counterparts look at men, how they look at us black men. Like, come on. I mean, I don't know any other race of woman who will sit here and say most of their men are down lows, but they can't prove it. But they'll call them down low. The first time a man says he doesn't like his sister, first time that a man says, hey, look, I don't like what women do, automatically call you down low. They will automatically call you gay, but yet they will then hop in a car with a bunch of gay men and go to a club and go party and have a bunch of selfies. I mean, like, is that not snakish? Is that not kind of fake? You're going to sit here and call these men, you're going to call straight men gay because you may feel some type of way about what they said to you, but then turn around and hop in a car with some other men who are actually that, and then turn around and act buddy-buddy with them. That doesn't make any sense. That's fake. But that's that woman stuff. Then push narratives that we don't take care of our children, when statistically speaking, 70 to 80% of your men or black men take care of their children. They are active fathers. I mean, we can go down a whole list. But it's just that it's that bad, right? Men have it that bad. Your brothers have it that bad. Then somebody else says we mistreat each other, right? Now, just one way. Now, it's just only coming one way. It's only coming from one direction. It's coming from our sisters to men. We don't have the luxury to disrespect women. We don't get to disrespect sisters, because there will always be consequences for that, whether it be from the laws or whether it be from our own. We are going to be held accountable for disrespecting a sister. That's just a fact. Then somebody else says, true, a lot of black men have to survive their mothers before they survive the world. Then somebody else says, because in their mind, they're perfect no matter what. Then Curtis responds and says, my wife is white, but my last two girlfriends before her were black. They didn't turn me off to black women. I still love our women, but my wife was the first calm relationship I had in a decade. I think that's because she's awesome, not really to do with her skin tone. So, I mean, look, and then you also have a sister who have an issue with your other sisters who just prioritize your white men, but never for any good reasons.
Black girls that only date white guys scare me. They scare me real bad. They scare me real bad because I'm a black girl on the internet and I see what white boys leave in my comments. And you, as a black American woman, only date that type? What color is your collar and leash?
Now, for her, I would say, you shouldn't base your sisters wanting to date out off of the comments that you may receive, because those comments don't make up what most of those people do and what most of those people think, in my opinion, in this situation. But, for the most part, a lot of your sisters are dating out because they want to. It's almost like trying to get back at your brothers. When you have your passport bros, when you have your guys who say, I'm going to date outside of my race. A lot of these women who you tend to see dating these dudes who look like they're playboys, who got tons and tons of money, ma'am, we already know why you're there. And you're taking a shortcut. You're taking the easy way out. And these would be the same women who say, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. They put it in their bio and Instagram, I'm an entrepreneur. No, you're not. You got your money off of another man. Stop it. Stop it. You waited for that man to pass so you can go ahead and inherit his will. You're disgusting, right? Just stop. But y'all guys, let me know down below, man. What do y'all guys think? Do me a huge favor, leave me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel.